So this is the second level tessellation. It's slightly more advanced than the first level. We're going to be making tessellation pieces, which of course are shapes that interlock with each other, and leaving no spaces and no overlaps. They are octopus or octopi, interlocking, and I've colored them in a contrasting pattern. I'm going to show you how to make this pattern, but of course you can make one all of your own design in your own style. All right, so the first thing we need is a piece of grid paper. I've placed dots on my grid paper, graph paper, 8 by 8 away from each other. We need a total of 9 dots so that we have 4 squares. Our first line that we're going to draw is going to go from the center to the outer left. So I'm just going to draw my line on here. I'm going from this dot to this dot, not trying to make it overly complicated. I do recommend that you use the corners on the grid, at least for the beginning of it, so that you have some nice references. You're going to be using those later on. Okay. And then I'm going to use a piece of tracing paper, and I'm going to trace this line. Now I tend to find that if I trace in the very bottom so I can see this dot, it will be helpful later. Trace that on there. Okay, so I have traced from my center dot to my left middle, and then I'm going to rotate that tracing, and I want it to connect with the middle, top, and the center. If these two lines interact, then I've got to change it. So if that happened, then you got to change that. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate this again. And I'm going to trace this again. And then I'll rotate it one more time. Okay, so I have my my first set of lines all set up. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set that back in place, and I'm going to draw another line that goes from this dot down to here. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and draw this on here first, and then I'll transfer it onto the tracing paper. And then this tracing will twist up to here. Like that. And then this will flip completely over and fit here. Notice that this fits into place, and that means this one's going to fit into place. Okay, and then this will twist down to here. That fits in place. And then this will once again flip completely over. Fitting into place. And then this will twist out to here. And this will flip all the way over. And then this will twist out to here. And that gives us 4 tessellation pieces. And then the final step is to decide what are those things. You could make it a bird, a fish, some other kind of person or animal. It's up to you. I'm going to make mine look like my octopi. Um, and I'm going to push pause, and then I'm going to do that, and then you can see what I did. Okay, so I added my lines in here, making it look like an octopus. And then I'd rotate my paper again, and I would do that again. And that's how to make a second level tessellation piece. Once I have that tessellation piece, then I can use it repeatedly on my larger piece of paper to make it fill the entire page. You can use the grid. You can draw the whole thing out on the grid paper and then trace it onto the bigger paper, or you can put dots in, in like in a grid pattern on the big paper, and then use the tracing paper to get the whole image on there. And that is completely up to you. When I drew this, I drew dots, measured out, and basically made a grid pattern of dots, and then used this to transfer the image on there. All right, so let's go ahead and get started.